Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Welcome to McBain Moments. Before I get started, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Manor. Make sure you take a moment and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. So what does slow is smooth, smooth is fast mean? Well, in the art of defense, it is an admonition, which means that when you are learning the sword, you practice your movements slowly and deliberately so that you can execute them perfectly. Because if you can execute them perfectly when going slowly, you can easily add speed over time. Not only that, but a slow movement done smoothly is much more likely to be successful than a rough movement done quickly, because your opponent will see it and they'll be able to account for it. So where can this admonition come into play elsewhere? Well, think about it. Any skill that you develop, whether it's fencing or construction, cleaning, especially cleaning, even little things like making your bed, you will find yourself so much more successful and able to do it so much more quickly and precisely if when you are figuring out how to make it work, when you're learning the skill, and this can be applied to math, this can be applied to sciences, this can be applied to child rearing. When you come across a need to use the skill, you start by doing it slowly and deliberately. Because what you're doing is you're making sure that every step that you take is done absolutely correctly. And as you practice it and iteratively manage to do it time over time over time, those skills will start to build up and the speed will naturally come with it. And so what it means is that as you do this and your skills build up and your abilities build up and you start to go faster and faster, you're not even going to notice the fact that you're moving faster. All you're going to notice is that you keep having iterative successes and you can start building onto and adding to that skill. And in doing so, you're actually going to end up building that skill faster, or more accurately, you're going to build it more successfully than someone who tries to rush it. And that's what it really comes down to. The art of defense in particular is a game of half and quarter seconds. It is an incredibly fast game. Because when you're fencing, a half second can mean the difference between being hit and successfully parrying a blow. But a shoddy parry has a much less chance of being successful than a slightly slower but smooth parry. And thus, because you take the time to learn the motion, when the movement comes in and you see that blade coming at you, if you're slow and you motion the parry up, even if it's slower, if you're doing it correctly, you are much more likely to catch your opponent's blade. Now, at first, it may not be successful. You may need to build some of that speed up, but it's much more important that you understand the motion perfectly. Any skill in life is like this. And so, you have the ability to take the time and practice the skill. If you really want to learn it, if you really want to ingrain it into your body and your soul, you take the time and you iteratively practice it every single day. And this is something that I have struggled with in my life. I'm going to lay that card right out on the table. When I played a musical instrument, I hated practicing daily. Hated it. Because to me, and it might be because my choice in instrument was more of a, for the type of band I was in, because I was in concert band, and the flute is an ancillary instrument largely in concert band, and because I never practiced, I never got very good at playing. I noticed as I was fencing, I hit plateaus. One plateau is overcome by finding a teacher. Another plateau is being overcome by teaching. But I can't be a competent teacher if I cannot execute the movements perfectly for the student to learn from. All I'm doing is doing them a disservice. So I decided I needed to up my game. And so I started practicing slow movements and making it very deliberate and increasing the precision of those movements. And I would encourage you, whatever skill you're learning, to take a look at where you're at in learning that skill and say, if I take the time and slow it down and work on my precision, understanding that mistakes are going to be made, or it's going to take 2 to 3 times longer than it otherwise would because I'm aiming for perfection. And that doesn't mean you're going to be perfect the first time. Never think you're going to be perfect the first time. But if you continually aim for it and you allow yourself the time to slow down and perfect the movement, or slow down and perfect the calculation, or slow down and perfect the measurement, you'll find that overall, you're going to be a lot more successful over time. And that's the experiment I'm doing now. I'm about 2 weeks into it. Not soon enough for me to see real results, but it is soon enough for my body to want to continually practice. In fact, I'll be doing that right after I post this video. Go out and do the same and tell me how you did in a comment. This has been a McBain moment.